Hi everyone, it's Monica.
And I'm Bryant.
And today we're going to talk about Virtus, Protecting God's Children for grades 1 and 2. So what we're doing is this is something that the Archdiocese and Cardinal Cupich asks us to do every year in order to make sure that church is a safe and fun environment for everyone, and we're just going to learn some general rules that help to keep us all safe.
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to start to learn how to keep everyone safe we're going to talk about our boundaries. And so boundary is something that you set, and it's something that makes you feel comfortable in your situation. So for example, a boundary that you guys probably all know is that you don't hit or kick your friends, because that doesn't make your friend, or maybe the person isn't your friend, that doesn't make them feel good, and it's an inappropriate touch to them.
And that it could be either physical or non-physical, so you should never spit on a friend or do things that, shouldn't be happening.
And a boundary doesn't have to be something that's physical either. So it might not even be hitting or kicking, but for example, if Bryant, maybe I called him a nickname that he didn't like, and he asked me not to call him that nickname because it hurt his feelings, I would respect Bryant's boundary and not call him that anymore. And
also boundaries have to do with even visual. You're changing or doing something that's your own private time. No one should be there necessarily watching you. And we'll go into the different names of friends and family and that. But when you're not supposed to be with someone, that's a boundary also.
So boundaries, just to review, are something that you set that make you feel safe and healthy and comfortable and respected. And if people don't respect those boundaries, or maybe you ask someone to stop touching you, if they're hitting you, kicking you, doing something that you don't feel comfortable with them doing, or they say something to you that makes you feel uncomfortable and you've asked them to stop and they don't, that's something that you're going to want to tell an adult that you trust, and know that adult will help you in this situation. So that kind of brings us to our next subject. We have some vocabulary words that we want to go over with you for the rest of our lesson. So Mr. Bryant's going to talk about them now, and then we'll kind of talk about them in how they apply to our lives.
So we went over boundaries. Another word would be safe friends and safe adults. These are people that won't hurt you without a good reason and won't intentionally confuse you. They listen to you. They listen to and consistently respect boundaries and follow the rules. So a safe friend and adult, you don't want to be punched. They're someone that's a good friend at that point, and they just respect you and your boundaries and all that.
And they're not going to make you feel uncomfortable at all.
Or just behavior that won't hurt you. Obviously you're going to get reprimanded at home. That's going to hurt your feelings, but it should be if some random person or someone that's not part of your main adult group.
Right.
We also have a special safe adult. A special safe adult are those very few special adults who can see or touch a child's private body parts, but only with the purpose of keeping the child safe or keeping you safe, clean and healthy. They have permission to help with bathing you, taking you to the restroom, putting on clothes, and providing care when sick. Not every safe adult is a special safe adult. And sometimes special safe adults, and only for specific occasions are reasons. So
an example of that, well, let's break it down.
Yeah.
So what we're referring to as your private parts are pretty much any area that would be covered by a bathing suit. I think is a good way to look at it. And that's something that is for you to see, and not just anybody. And that's also your special safe adult is who helps you with that. So maybe you went swimming and you have to take your bathing suit off and maybe it gets stuck. You would ask someone that you feel comfortable with to help you. So maybe it's mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, an older sibling.
Yeah, not a random stranger.
Right. We wouldn't ask someone we met at the pool. But also your doctors or a nurse or anyone who's trying to help you, maybe in like a medical situation, is also a special safe adult. And your doctor has to look at your private parts to make sure that you're healthy and you're clean.
Yeah. And it's all for, mainly, like Monica said, healthy, clean, and it's all safe.
Right. Or if someone's helping you, maybe you had an accident, that would also be a situation where it would be okay for someone that you consider to be a special safe adult to see your private areas.
So remember, there's a difference between a special adult or a safe adult and a special safe adult.
Right.
Something else to go over is safe touches. Touches that you have a good purpose and aren't intended to hurt and should be familiar. These are safe and can also be meant to keep you healthy, even in a person that doesn't know you well. So a doctor, the nurse is giving you a shot in the arm.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to hurt, but it's a normal touch and feeling.
It's a safe touch because they're not doing it to make you uncomfortable, and they're not doing it to hurt you.
Yeah, and your mother kissing you on your forehead at night, that's a safe touch. But somebody punching you in the arm is not a safe touch. Right. Certain things that don't make you feel necessarily good.
Yeah, and things that make you uncomfortable are things that would also be considered not a safe touch. So while it might be okay for your mom or your dad to give you a kiss on the cheek,
or to help you in the bath,
someone that you don't really know or that you're not comfortable with wanting to do that, and it makes you feel not okay, that's not a safe touch. And it's your body, so you can say no, and you can ask that person to stop, and they will respect your boundaries. And if they don't respect your boundaries, and they do something that doesn't feel right with you, and you feel like it wasn't okay and it made you uncomfortable and that someone violated your boundaries, you want to find a safe adult or your special safe adult and tell them what happened and ask them what they think and what they can do to help you.
Yeah, for an opinion.
Bryant and I are safe adults for you guys. If something happens and you want to tell us, we will make sure that everything gets handled, and we will respect your boundaries and help you. Your teachers are safe adults. Your mom and your dad, grandma, grandpa, anybody that you feel comfortable sharing that with, you should share that with.
Yes, and then our last word actually 2 words, an unsafe touch. These are touches that are inappropriate, could be meant to hurt or scare, or are contrary to the touching rule. If you are unsure about a touch, this is when you ask a parent. So we kind of went over this already. People obviously that might yell something to get your attention will make you feel scared, but that's normal. But somebody who scares you in general and you don't feel comfortable, if a stranger walks up to you, that can be very scary. That's when it's unsafe. And
I think maybe an example of that, just so you guys understand, is like if let's say Bryant and I were yelling in the classroom because there was a fire or we needed your attention.
Or a mouse.
Exactly. That might scare you initially, but Bryant and I didn't yell at you to hurt you.
Yes.
And so that's the difference. But if someone came into the room and made you feel really uncomfortable and they were maybe doing things that you thought were hurting you or are hurting you, that's when it's unsafe and you want to find a safe adult and let them know.
Yes. And then our last word would be secrets. Something kept hidden, never told or unexplained. Secrets exclude others and have potential to harm. So obviously as kids, you have secrets with other people, but if you feel a secret is not appropriate, you definitely should tell someone. You should not feel that if an adult says, oh, we have a secret about something. If you don't feel that it's right, you should tell at least your safe adult. Your safe adult.
If they say don't tell mom or dad, you probably should tell mom or dad.
Yeah, so definitely keep that in your mind in terms of secrets, just so you're not feeling frightened, because certain secrets could make you feel uncomfortable and scared. So, an example is, let's see. It is like tell a child it's wrong for an adult or another child to ask you to keep a secret about safety, especially
so maybe
unsafe touching.
Like if you're with your aunt or your uncle or some cousins and maybe they give you a piece of candy before dinner and they say, hey, don't tell your mom and dad. That's different than someone who you ask them to stop either touching you or saying something to you and they didn't, and then say, hey, don't tell your mom or dad. That's different.
So that is our main vocabulary words to go over.
So I think we can focus a little bit more on safe touches briefly. So, maybe giving someone that you feel like is a safe adult or your safe friend a hug is okay. Maybe a random stranger, we probably don't want to do that. That would probably make you uncomfortable. And then, we would just want to respect everybody's personal space. I don't know if, especially now with COVID, we're staying 6 feet away from people. That's kind of a good rule to not get really close to people that you don't know or invade their kind of personal bubbles. And I think the most important thing that Bryant and I want to convey to you is that you guys have boundaries and it's okay that you have them, and it's your body and it's how you feel. And so if something makes you uncomfortable, maybe something makes me uncomfortable that Bryant doesn't mind.
Yeah.
What matters is that I'm uncomfortable and I asked him to stop.
When everyone's different. So some people might not like hugs.
Right.
And as a kid, you want to hug your friend. They might feel uncomfortable with that. You just got to respect that.
Exactly. And if they ask you to stop, you need to stop.
Yes.
And at the same time, if you ask someone to stop and they don't stop, that's when you need to tell your safe adult or your special safe adult that they made you uncomfortable.
Yep. So different touches that are appropriate, that are safe touches. Hugging someone unless you feel uncomfortable. And all these are typical safe ways to touch somebody, but some people obviously will feel different or uncomfortable about it. But giving someone a hug, a brief hug, nothing really long typically. A high five. Everyone likes to get a little nice high five.
It's a good way to celebrate with your team if you did something good.
Yep, an elbow bump.
Yes, especially with COVID.
Fist bumps.
Yes.
So those are typical safe touches that are allowed and normal for an everyday kind of friend or an adult.
And some unsafe touches are things that would either hurt you or make you feel uncomfortable. So for example, someone hitting you, if someone trips you or spits on you, that's not anything that you would want to do to someone or have done onto you. And I know it might be uncomfortable for you guys to talk about, but like we said, if someone who isn't a special safe adult or someone that you don't feel comfortable with either sees or wants to look at or is touching your private parts and making you uncomfortable, even if you ask them to stop, you need to remember that it's okay to tell your safe adult and to tell your special safe adult, because they are going to want to help you to make sure that you feel comfortable.
But if for some reason it does happen, you should tell a safe adult.
Yes.
Or that let's say you're in a washroom or in just an area that you feel uncomfortable with. Tell an adult, like if you're
uncomfortable.
Yeah, and you're in school, let a parent or let a teacher know that hey, this happened. Don't ever feel uncomfortable telling someone if you feel uncomfortable, because they're there to make sure you're safe.
And it doesn't, I think something too, that it doesn't have to be the person that it happened with. So maybe you're in art class and you maybe don't feel comfortable telling your art teacher, but you feel comfortable telling your music teacher. It's okay to not tell your art teacher, but you told your music teacher or you told mom and dad. It doesn't have to be the adult that's in the room right then. It's just whoever you are comfortable with is who we want you to tell.
Yes, and it could be a principal, any sort of adult that you definitely feel comfortable with. It goes with someone looking underneath the stall while you're in there. Just areas like that. That's your business.
It's your zone. It's your private parts. It's your boundaries, and they're really for you and then your special safe adult.
Yep.
Okay, so I think to wrap it up, Bryant and I have a couple scenarios, and we're going to do kind of a game out of it, like thumbs up, thumbs down. So I'm going to read Bryant a scenario, and he's going to let us know if it's a thumbs up, it's okay, or a thumbs down, we shouldn't do that, and we should tell our safe result.
Yes.
Okay, first one. Your mom gives you a hug when you wake up.
That's a thumbs up.
I agree. Hugs from my mom are nice. Your dad gives you a kiss on the cheek after tucking you into bed.
That's another thumbs up.
I agree. Tommy gives you a high five when you win the game.
That's another thumbs up.
Okay, I agree. Someone says they want to touch your private body parts, or they try without asking.
That's a thumbs down.
And are we going to tell our safe adult?
We would definitely tell a safe adult.
Okay. Your cat purrs and whines around your leg.
That's the thumbs up.
Someone says they want to take you down a dark hallway to show you something.
That's a thumbs down.
And we're going to tell our safe adult.
Yep.
The stranger behind you in church tries to shake your hand during the sign of peace.
That's a thumbs up.
And especially if you're around your parents and other people that can see it. That's
Yes.
maybe a time where it's okay to touch a stranger like that.
Yeah, it's not by yourself or
Exactly.
anything.
Your friendly dog is wagging its tail and licking your face.
I think that's a thumbs up.
I agree. I don't really like dogs licking my face, but I'll give it a thumbs up too. Then your next door neighbor pushes you down the sidewalk.
That's a thumbs down. I had to
We
think
don't-
about that
we
one.
don't
If
like
it was
that.
on a scooter or something, but
Because they
yes.
were mean. They were mean to
Yes.
us, and we would want to make sure that people aren't mean. Someone is running down a hallway at school, and a teacher reaches out and puts a hand on the person's shoulder to stop them from running and possibly falling.
That's a thumbs up. That's for your safety.
Exactly. And they touch
And
your
others.
shoulder, which is not in your private zones. Someone you've seen before asking you if you want to see their puppy or kitten and tries to take your hand to lead you into their house or car.
That's a thumbs down. You should not do that. That's a stranger danger.
We want to get away from that person
You'd keep walking or go to the closest neighbor's house that you know.
that you trust. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's a definitely, you want to find a special safe, or not even a special safe, but a safe adult immediately. Okay. So I think we did a good job with that game. I think that was fun.
Good
And
job,
hopefully-
everybody.
Hopefully you guys learned something, and we just want to make sure that you guys know that this is to keep you safe and to make sure that church and school and your sports are a
And
fun
life.
environment for you. And don't forget that you guys are the ones setting the boundaries, so if something makes you uncomfortable, tell people to stop.
You guys all have a great one. Thank
If you have any questions, you can email us or Julie Padel, who's our faith formation director.
Yes, if you have anything,
Any
in
questions,
general.
comments,
concerns.
let us know. Thanks for watching.